As we have examined the terms of the Bill of Rights, we are supposed to look at the criticisms of the Bill of Rights. What made the Bill of Rights weak? What were the setbacks or the weaknesses of the Bill of Rights? Let's look at it. The first one, we have the Bill of Rights made a half-fair attempt to reduce the powers of the king. Though it was put in place to reduce the powers of the king, but it did not completely reduce the powers of the king. The king in England was still having powers to appoint and dismiss ministers. The king was having powers to declare war and even to raise an army. So the Bill of Rights, it made just a half attempt to reduce the powers of the king, as the king still had powers even to take decisions over foreign issues. So it became a weakness that the Bill of Rights could not completely control the powers of the king. The second one we talk about, the Bill of Rights in England, or when it was put in place, it failed to recognize that the kingdom of England was ruled alongside Scotland, the kingdom of Scotland, and because of that, the Bill of Rights came out with some clauses that did not favor the people of Scotland. The Scottish chiefs who were under the kingdom of England refused to take the oath of allegiance. Why? Because there were some decisions. For example, when the English people wanted Protestant to rule them, the people of Scotland were not happy because they never wanted Protestant. So, because the Scottish were not in one accord with the terms of the Bill of Rights, it resulted into what we call the Glencoe Massacre. The Glencoe Massacre of 1694, which was a war that was fought in Glencoe, where people were killed because the people of Scotland were not happy. So it made the Bill of Rights weak. Another weakness of the Bill of Rights, we look at the Bill of Rights is true. It talks about a parliament should be created and the parliament should meet, but it did not speculate the number of times that the parliament should frequently meet. So it gave a limitation to the Bill of Rights. It only said the parliament should meet, but it did not speculate it. It was until in 1694 where the Triennial Act was passed. The Triennial Act was passed in 1694 to stipulate that the parliament should meet every after 3 years. So, given that the parliament should meet in the Bill of Rights, they failing to speculate how often and then they should meet, and the mandate of the parliament to make the Bill of Rights weak. The last weakness of the Bill of Rights was that the Bill of Rights has made it clear that the king should not create a standing army in England in time of peace, but it was criticized because after the Bill of Rights was put in place, we all call the Mutiny Act. The Mutiny Act was passed in the British Parliament in 1689. This Mutiny Act was passed, or we can call it the military settlement. It was passed to ask the king to give some powers to the king to create an army, to create a standing army, since James II went to France and was still threatening to come back to England and take over the throne. The people of England needed protection over the kingdom as well as Protestants that were in England, and because of that, they put in place the Mutiny Act of 1689, which gave the powers to the king to put in place an army. Now, putting in place an army under the Mutiny Act was already a contradiction over the Bill of Rights that has totally asked the king not to create a standing army. So, these were some of the weaknesses of the Bill of Rights. A question can be asked: to what extent did the Bill of Rights satisfy the aspiration of the English people? In that area, since the question has used extent, any advanced level question using the word extent is two parts. The first part, we are going to give the terms, how the Bill of Rights satisfies the aspiration of the English people, which we are talking about the terms of the Bill of Rights. And the second part, we'll be talking about the weaknesses of the Bill of Rights, how it failed to satisfy the aspiration of the English people. I'll be coming back to do the last part, where we'll be looking at the Revolutionary Settlement Act of the Revolution. Thank you for watching Benjamin Academy.